All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Fusebox, aka Ben, aka the creator of Outlaw Nights, Genesis of a Renegade. And I am here joining y'all with two legends of Comicsgate, in my opinion. Uh, we're here with good old Sim and good
Hey,
old Vinny Tartamella.
Hey man, how we doing?
thanks for
What?
the invite, brother.
Oh,
Yes, thank you.
thank y'all for coming on. I mean, I appreciate the heck out of it. Y'all had me on your streams before, so it's only fair, you know?
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, CG is all about paying it forward and collaborating and helping each other.
Amen.
For sure.
Amen. So how y'all doing this evening?
Bit exhausted. I'm packing books like a maniac for almost 2 weeks now, week and a half, almost 2 weeks. Uh, just to give you a rough idea of how busy it's been, I lost about 6 pounds doing all this stuff because I haven't even been. I barely sleep. And I'm not really eating. I'm just fucking packing and getting books out.
So you lost 6 pounds of fat, but you gained 20 pounds of muscle lifting all those books, right?
Yeah, I wish. I wish it was that easy. No, it feels like my shoulder's gonna pop out of the socket though. I don't know.
See, like,
Me
we were
on my side, it's more about I'm in the final section part of the campaign, so the book's all drawn, and I'm just waiting for the edits and the print file, and should be printing in a week or two. So it's that type of
Beautiful.
nerds.
Oh yeah, man. It's
This
a good kind of nerds.
Yep.
this would be useful for me to ask because I have no idea. How do you assemble the print file exactly? Like when you have all your pages done, like is there a special program you use to put them in order, or do you just put them in order in like a normal like
Well,
email or something?
Clip Studio, you can have it when you set up your page, right? You can set it up like a book, and you can pretty much have it from there. One of the programs that a lot of people use, it's InDesign. But
Okay.
if you've never done it, I recommend looking for somebody that has experience.
Yeah.
And sometimes your printer also has them.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends because like the printer that I use, I could just my files in a folder. I could just upload them straight to their site,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have to put them in
Nice.
any special. The only thing they might have like a special arrangement where like for the cover they'd want like 001 front cover, and then like back cover and inside cover, but everything else would be like 002, 003 like that.
Okay.
It's just the numbering on it basically, or what you call the file. So it stays in order because with their machines, they I guess they know how to calculate it properly of how the setup is.
And they can also adjust your colors a bit sometimes. The settings.
Right.
Because
Right.
one thing you need to know, it's for digital press you can use RGB, but when you're going to those big presses it needs to be CYMK. You need to know the difference, so you need to ask your printer.
Okay.
So your printer knows if you send them their files and they're taking care of it, but you need to ask your printer. Just extra info.
Okay. All the info, the better,
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
because
haven't,
RGB is for digital, and CYMK is for printing. So depending on the type of press that they use, you need to know, because otherwise your colors are going to come out. Like if you print RGB on CYMK, everything's going to get really dark, and muddy a bit.
okay.
You know what's kind of funny about that? I've been doing RGB,
Mm-hmm.
and the printer they also have CMYK with it, but they print it out exactly how I have them. I might have a handful of copies that went a little bit darker, but it didn't distort the colors. It just made certain copies just overall darker, which worked for Through the Woods though. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
That's
I
why.
don't know
Yeah,
how to-
that's why you could do it, but if you don't know much, well, ask your printer or get somebody that actually knows how to do them. Like
Right.
like that yourself, you won't have a lot of mistakes, like page for the framing, the little whites showing when it's not supposed to.
Hmm.
The displacement of lettering or line work.
I get the vibe that I know Render would probably be able to help me a little bit in that
Mhm.
department. Good old render contender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got my editor.
I'm probably gonna need an editor. I'm probably gonna need one, just
Right.
because.
It's useful to have an extra set of eye that can read over it and make sure that you didn't miss some mistakes and little things you didn't notice.
Yeah.
Like the mistakes on that font.
Crazy, man. Yeah, dude. And I put together Through the Woods all by myself, pretty much. Like my brother and I would sit there and we would change some of the dialogue here and there on some pages. But yeah, I was putting everything in, so I know how tedious and painstaking it is, especially if there's a little error or something. You got to go back and fix files.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy.
Oh yeah. I figured that was a great segue when you mentioned Through the Woods. I figured, why not pull it up?
Yeah, man. Wow, look at that.
Yep.
I'm almost at
$270, brother.
dude,
Creeping
yeah.
up to that 35K.
Yeah, almost at 600 backers. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I
Look at
mean,
that.
your artwork deserves it, man. Your artwork deserves more backers than that, in my opinion.
Thanks. Dude, no, really, I appreciate that. I was kind of surprised too, because when I went to the printer already, I put my order in. I had a little over 500 backers, and now we're almost 100 backers on top of that, and it's only been a couple of weeks. So I was like, wow, if we keep going at that pace, yeah, whatever I overprint is going to disappear fast.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely. Like I can't see this failing. If this failed, I would have to question my faith in humanity,
Yeah,
in general.
likewise.
No, but yeah, tell us a little bit about the project.
Yeah, this one is a ghost story. It centers around Laura Langley. She's an investigative reporter who she inherits this property in upstate New York that none of her other family members wanted, and she didn't know why until she got there. She kind of heard that there's rumors of a haunting, but she kind of dismisses it. But during the course of that first issue, there's certain things she couldn't deny, and she sort of got led by one of these, I'll call them spirits, that kind of led her to the back of the property where she finds this cabin. It's all run down, and in there she kind of mistakenly reawakens another restless spirit. And yeah, so you're gonna find out kind of what happened, because it was a horrible tragedy that occurred about 100 years prior, to this present day events on this loggers camp, and yeah, it was pretty horrible, and that's why it was kind of all left by itself, and nobody wanted it. But yeah, you'll see, because I have flashbacks, 200 years prior, and you see what went down. So during the book, I have a lot of cool different moments that happen in there, even with flashbacks. I play with sepia tones.
Ooh, nice.
There's an important part that actually happens during a flashback where the sequence of pages, I start to slowly add more color to them until you get to the big pivotal scene, the big moment, and it's kind of like I wanted the viewers to be pulled into a photograph if they were looking at an old photograph, and then they were kind of brought there. So that was the approach I took. Something I've never seen done in comics before. It's either one or the other. It's either black and white or sepia when they do flashbacks or something along those lines. But I've never seen anything done the way that I did it in this book. So yeah, I played with different stuff. So in all 3 issues, I did something a little bit different. I do have a flashback where you see black and white, like in the 2nd issue, somewhere in the middle of the book. But there's a reason for it as well, and you'll see it when you get there. But yeah, there's a lot of thought and love that went into this project. It is a contained story. You get the whole series right there. And yeah, if people do love it enough, and I've been hearing things already, even before I was doing crowdfunding, that people did want more. So my brother and we did come up with an idea for a sequel, which will be really great and do something very different with all of this. So
Nice.
yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, there's a lot on the plate right now.
No, yeah, like just from before we went on air, you were describing all the stuff you were going through, and it was triggering my anxiety big time because I'm thinking, oh God, like God, I was thinking to myself, like, I hope my book doesn't sell that much.
It's not what you want to be saying.
Nope.
See, the thing with a lot of these campaigns, because this is my 5th one, I would strongly advise anyone coming out of the gate, try to keep things very minimal. Don't go into T-shirts, stickers, all this crazy stuff. Try to keep it simple. If you want to do a book and a print, or a book and maybe an ash can or something like that, keep it simple. Because when numbers do start to shoot up, it's going to be very, very complicated, time-consuming, and very costly to manage all that stuff. If you don't have outside help, if you have a big family or a lot of people who could help you, friends and stuff, hey, go at it. But if it's just you and maybe 1 or 2 other people, it is going to get very, very difficult very fast. So, I would try to keep things, very minimal at first.
I think that's sage advice, because like that was the number one thing I noticed with a lot of Comicscape projects. A lot of them were promising so many add-ons and extras, and those were all the projects that I saw like being extremely late. And I had a feeling it was because it's like they were biting off way more than they could chew. Yeah. So I think it's good to, like, first starting out, just keep it simple,
Absolutely, man. Like I said, because these are I know fans have to start to trust people as well. If they don't know who you are, it's going to be hard to trust right out of the gate. But if it's more of a simple project, and especially if you can get it done, or the majority of it done before you start the campaign, then you're going to look a lot better in everyone's eyes. They're going to be able to trust you more quickly, just keep things more professional. I mean, I know I've exploded here and there, but when I do, it's usually towards, well, I'd say 99% of the time it's towards the SJWs or the anti-CJ. The people who attack us or attack me specifically, I speak up and I fight back.
Or assholes from the industry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the times it's hand in hand, where they send their trolls after you, right? So
seriously.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, other than that, I keep it as professional as possible, especially with fans and other creators. There's no need to be throwing shit in anyone's face, or having fights for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're referring, of course, to a lot of the current drama stuff.
Yeah, I've only caught pieces of it. Again, I've been too busy with everything. I had a small opportunity to get on Ethan's auction night, and I wasn't there long either when I did. So, I don't know everything that's been going on. This week, I'm planning on doing a couple more streams as well, because I need to get a little bit back into it. In fact, I'm doing one on Wednesday for my channel. So, we're going to get back into the swing of things a bit.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, my days have been very, very packed. So apologies for anyone who's been waiting. We're going to try to correct that very soon.
Well, I mean, just looking at these pages right here, I'm like, you do what you got to do, man. This is, I mean, damn.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, that's all. That entire page is me. Pencils all the way straight to the lettering.
Damn.
Yeah. A lot of work.
I'm loving this dude with the half brown, half white.
Thanks, man. Yeah, he got in the book, you'll see he gets struck by lightning. That's how that happened to him.
Nice. Good stuff.
Yeah. I want to play with the designs for the villain, really kind of showcase it, because the guy's fucked up in the head to begin with. And what happened to him makes him a little worse.
That's honestly one of the things I like about comic book characters in general, is they tend to have more distinctive features added to them, and things like half white, half brown hair and all. Like, That's stuff that's always just appealed to me visually.
Oh, dude, same here. Especially with a story like this, because they don't have on superhero outfits or anything. So I want to do things that kind of make them stand out, because that's the most difficult thing. If you could take someone who's kind of in average clothes, or it's a story that's more of like real world kind of stuff, and then you put your elements of supernatural or something else in there. You want to really make sure that those characters, those main characters, have something that stands out about them. Something special. You're going to recognize them, their silhouettes. It's that kind of stuff. It's that thought that goes into everything, the details. I think that's very important. And most mainstreams or a lot of newbies, they're not fully aware of that, and they might go either too intricate with the design, or they want to go way too flashy, and it might come off way too cartoony. You need to find like a good balance.
Yeah. Hit a nice medium between real and fantastic.
Right. And it depends too. It depends on the story that you're trying to tell. If it's going to be way loaded with action and violence, or if it's going to be something that's, again, a little more traditional superhero, flying around and, saving people. Each kind of thing fits, I think, specifically with, what you're kind of going for. But the thought process, I think, applies to everything. Because that's what I am. I'm a storyteller, so I want to make sure every element of it is there, that it could be cinematic. It could be so easily translated into a movie or a TV show, if that, God willing, if anything like that ever happens. But either way, I'm trying to bring something special back into at least the comics that I'm doing.
We're bringing sexy back.
Oh yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I haven't seen any of your characters sitting at a table like the Golden Girls, all eating cheesecake.
Right?
Talking about, oh men.
I'm gonna have to take that out of Blood Hunt.
Yeah. That's it. Go back to the old drawing board. I had 20 pages in this book. I had to reread. No, I'm kidding.
Because we had a Starbucks scene in it. When we realized that we went, we need to wipe them out.
Could you believe what they've done to the mainstream? I mean, you look at something like Batman. He's this dark avenging hero, this detective, badass, and now he's cucked. He's crying over Catwoman 24/7. What kind of bullshit? Oh, that's painful, man.
Dude, did you see the animated movie of the Hush thing?
No.
Dude, they changed the ending where Hush is a scarecrow.
Oh God.
And he gets turned down and cock and really bad by Catwoman. She just leaves him. Because he's too much of a kid.
Oh God.
Dude, that's insulting, man. That's insulting.
Mm-hmm.
What are those things on? Are they on Hulu or something? Or they were actually released?
They were actually released. It's remember they were doing all those comic books adaptation, like they did the Dark Knight and stuff.
I saw the Dark Knight. I saw Flashpoint. Those two were pretty good.
They did the laughing joke or something like that with the Joker.
The killing joke. Oh, I did see that. That was the last one I saw, and I was infuriated by it.
Especially when it gets the rooftop scene with Batgirl. Like,
yeah, that was garbage.
Batman no.
That was straight up Bruce Timm trying to get his fetish out of his head, because he put it in the animated series, right? When they did Batman Beyond, that they talked about a romance between Barbara and Bruce. And so he had to eventually put it somewhere in his little lore, and he stuck it there. Wow. The level of stupidity and perversion that went down there. You thought maybe if they were going to do something like that, it would have been closer to maybe like she was in her 40s, like they were already kind of retired. No. They do it when she's still in the midst of it, and it's more like a father-daughter relationship. Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
I'll tell you, like, there's so many iterations of Batman now where they're taking all the points from the Killing Joke and just redoing them so people are like, oh, hey, I remember that, like,
Well, because Killing Joke is still, I think, their top selling graphic novel for a Batman book.
It was a great story, but it's like, let's venture into some new waters here, like.
Well, again, they want to fall back on that because every year it still sells like crazy. That's why they eventually did a remaster, or like, I don't know. I saw it somewhere and I wasn't impressed by it. I think the coloring was very odd. Now
Yeah.
you have modern day computer coloring and stuff, and I think it looks worse. I think they should have kept it where it was.
I have to be honest. Like, I was half excited when I heard that Bruce Timm and the original team want to bring back the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, when you remember those movies, I'm also worried as hell.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, well, we don't want you to overly sexualize. We don't want you to draw sexy women. We don't want you to, but everything has to be with sex now. There's sex everywhere, like Batman and Batgirl. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, when did we turn in? When did the comics turn into Pornhub?
Yeah, it's bizarre, right? Because they push that everywhere in their comics. We don't want to see any sexuality, but yet in the animated series, they keep doing stuff like that.
In the comics too, it's all about their sexuality. When you think about it, it's all about.
In the comics, it sounds more like it's these teen soap operas that they're trying to do now. Mm-hmm. And like who's pregnant and who's deciding that they're gonna abort the kid or what? I mean, come on, these are disgusting storylines.
Welcome to Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, that shit should not be in it. And it's funny because, like you said, they keep talking about sex, but they don't want to show anything sexy. And if there's an artist who draws something sexy, they attack them and they put them under a microscope. Yeah. It makes no sense. But then in the animated thing, it's all this perverted shit. I've been seeing ads here and there for this new Harley series where she's dropping the F-bomb every 30 seconds. She's showing her ass. They're doing all these weird sexual jokes. Who the fuck is that for?
It's for people who are fans of Batman, ironically.
Yeah. Nice, perfectly
said. Yeah. It was a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the hipsters who are like, "Oh, it's so bad, but I want to watch it," Yeah,
that's their target audience. Wow. Amazing. They should be so proud of themselves.
I mean, Harley Quinn, like, that character is nothing like what she was in the 90s.
Dude, they tried to turn her into an anti-hero. Like I said before, it's like they're trying to apply sympathy for the devil for every bad guy now, and they're trying to eliminate the heroism out of the hero.
Yeah.
So it's not just they're not attacking the super out of the superhero. They're actually attacking anything that's a hero. That's about working hard, learning your
Yeah, like nerfing all the heroes to make them I guess chasing after Selena Kyle with their tongues out,
Yeah, or having characters that change attitude and character every fucking day just to fit the story. You're like, dude, somebody like that would not do something like this.
Yeah.
Somebody that's uberly greedy won't be generous.
Yeah, I find that SJW dialogue is very awkward, and it always comes in at spots that you wouldn't expect it to. Like the best example of that I have was I was reading the Walking Dead comic series for a good while, and I got to the issue where they meet that girl who is super SJW, and like it was just so awkward to me because I'm in the middle of this drama where they're like, okay, we found a survivor in the middle of nowhere, and the first thing coming out of her mouth is, God, I'm glad it's not just a bunch of white people. God, that would be boring. And I'm just like, wait, what where does this coming from? Like, like how does it have any relevance to your setting?
It's embarrassing, man.
But that's what me. It's one of the things that I found annoying. It's every character that they're technically perfect and malleable to anything that's around them. Right?
Yeah.
It's like there's no character flaws. There's no, a hero to somebody is the bad guy to the opposition. Right? There's they don't deal with that anymore. Like somebody that, like Batman, right? One of the biggest traits is the guy trained to almost perfection. He's a fucking detective. He's cold as fuck. That's his flaw too. At the same time, some character traits can also be a flaw for certain things. That's why him and Superman matched so well.
Exactly, because
It's
they're
like day
opposites.
and night.
Yeah. Again, it's almost like the Greek gods, Zeus and Hades.
You know,
that's
it's
yeah.
Go.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh,
I was just gonna
man.
say it's that made me do Blood Hunt, because I wanted to tell one of those stories that was like, we don't have the rooting for the hero, the monster, right? The bad guy that you're rooting for, because it's not just about being black and white all the time, right? So it's like people don't realize about John Wick is technically you guys are all rooting for a bad guy that just had something really bad done to him.
Yeah.
Right. Dracula, not Dracula, but Frankenstein. It's technically one of the best example of the story starts. He's the fucking monster that people fear, and you're like, whoa. And at the end, he's the hero that you sympathize with because he had a purpose of it. It was a vengeance. They brought him back to life and he took everything away from him. And that's what he did. And dude, there's some gruesome scenes in there. So
the real monster is Dr. Frankenstein himself.
Mm-hmm.
He could be God, right? It's
that's the thing that we used to have. Ghost Rider. He's not a nice guy, right?
Right.
And I thought that's something that was missing a lot. So that's what got me into doing this. It was like me doing my own monster book, like the classic monster book. Like it's like me using like a vampire and doing like a Frankenstein type of story.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to root for the bad guy, turn a monster into a hero in a way, but he's not a superhero. He doesn't save people. You just have a code, an ethic, and you get to root for him for what happens to him.
Yeah, it's cool and interesting because it's a different way of telling stories now. I mean, something like Breaking Bad, if you want to put it to a television series, it's this the teacher who got cancer and he does something bad in order to make money for his family. But what happens? He gets that ego from it. He gets this high of what he's doing, for being scared shitless of it, not wanting to do it. Then he gets a taste for it. Then it's pretty much like, by the end of the series, he's this giant criminal mastermind, and you know what I mean? It's cool because the thing is, you're still rooting for him as well, and he's straight up now a complete fucking bad guy. It's cool how we can tell a story and get people interested in what we're doing and want to follow those journeys of these characters. That's the fun.
That's what they call three-dimensional characters.
Yeah.
It's
totally.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. But it's like with what I'm doing in Outlaw Nights is I'm essentially taking a character who's kind of naturally heroic, and I'm slowly making him anti-heroic. And it's that but he's doing it mainly out of the desire for survival. It's not he's not passionate about being a pirate yet. But
it's funny you say that too. Yeah, my current story that I'm writing and drawing and everything. That one is a pirate series, traditional pirates, and the journey that my main character is going to go on is fucking crazy, But it's that I want to do something different with it. I want to have fun with those elements, and hopefully get the audience really on board and behind all these characters, because you're going to see stuff where maybe you think is a straight up villain, maybe he isn't. Or someone who is evil is even worse than you think. The hero, he's going to have this weird balance, dipping in both, in both pools. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff happening.
Yeah, it's about the same thing in Blood Hunt. When you start, Vincent is like, a bit like Dexter mixed with John Wick. He's cold, calculated. He had that dark thing inside him that he decided to become an assassin and kill the mobster and become like death incarnate type of thing. He wants to be known as the most famous, right? Then he gets betrayed. He falls in love for the first time, gets betrayed, sent to his death, but doesn't die, gets turned into a vampire. So at that point, he has like a conflict in him, because to him, he lost everything. Everything was taken away from him, right?
Yeah.
He can't see the love of his life anymore. He's a fucking vampire. He's not human.
Yeah.
So by becoming a monster, he becomes more human in a way. Right? So
Because he starts to sympathize with things that he can't have anymore. And
but then
he
he's
looks at his
driven by
dudes.
that rage of vengeance. But then he learns the power, and the power that he gains by being a vampire, well, it gives him everything that he can to become known as death. Right?
Thank you.
It's a bit of both, right? So, and you
Give me my book already.
It's coming.
Good.
Like I'm telling you, it should be the print file should be ready within the next week and or two. Like I'm waiting for the final edits. Like I told you guys, but not on live. There was a little problem with one font, so we have to replace it. So
Yeah.
it's all going to be done.
Yeah,
It should all be done by the end of this week. The print file should be in my hand. I should be placing my orders next week.
Excellent.
But then with the week after. All right.
Because both you
It's,
and Vinny have artwork that your styles in particular, both of y'all are, some Comicsgate right now. So yeah, you were just telling us some about Blood Hunt, so I don't need to ask you that. But but I think the thing I like about your style is I like how it seems to kind of border on anime or like some of that classic 90s animation. It's like a combination of the two.
David, you're right. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. That's exactly, especially with Bloodhound. That was what I wanted to do. Was like a mix of anime, like the classic that we like so much, and the American European style of comic. Like it's like a manga, but I'm more into trying to reproduce the anime vibe than the manga, as for say.
I get the anime vibe from this panel right here. Just from the background alone, that makes me think of anime.
And I tried to put my panels like, when you go through them, they look animated. Like, look at those three there.
Yeah, you want motion and life. I mean, yeah, I've seen that in so many pages that you've been putting up, in the more recent projects as well. That's the cool thing, right? It's that manga or anime flavor. Yeah, that's what it's cool too that you have that. We have the CG show that you do. Because it's cool because we get to reminisce about that stuff and what inspired us, especially in our youth, and then we're applying it here. I mean, you can see it in these pages. You can see it in a lot of stuff we do.
It's what inspired us to push the boundaries of what we used to read as comics in a way. I think would be a good way of saying it. Like me and Vinny, when we start talking about anime, dude, we don't shut the fuck up. And it's like the same thing when we were talking about all those French comics. Dude, there's some amazing artists that you guys should really hear about.
Yes, absolutely, man. That's the beauty of it. We're bringing because it's funny. If you look at like those comic book artists and writers of the past, like they'll have a very specific kind of look, or the standout ones like John Buscema, people like that. Their styles are very specific. But then you kind of think like, what influenced them? And if you hear like what influenced them, it makes sense to why their styles are the way they are. And ours, it's those old greats plus like the animated series that we love watching, or these animated movies, live action movies, the directing, the cinematography on all this stuff. The bar is raised so high because you have things. Yeah, and well, that's the thing, right? It's pushing us all to do even better stuff or think of more amazing things. The one thing I got to say though is a lot of people though make sure you get your foundations right. A lot of people do want to go over the top right off the bat, but you need to get the foundations right. Otherwise, your house is going to be all lopsided when you build it. So
it won't make sense. Exactly. You need to build a foundation strongly. Then it's like the first rule of art is practice, practice, practice. Learn everything. Then forget everything and just wing it.
Yeah, because you want clarity in your storytelling. That's key because you got to think. A lot of people think of it as if your book is the first comic book they ever picked up. So they want to be able to read and understand what's going on very, very clearly. And then like maybe midway or a little bit later on in the story, if you want to go more over the top with things or experiment, do it, but keep things mindful about that, about the storytelling aspects.
And what we're saying is pretty much what Jim Lee and a few others were saying, like from the founders of Image, because we're all Image boys.
Yeah.
But they were. Michael Turner was the same thing. It's we're having an approach to comics like we're doing a movie in anime. Like Vinny was saying before, it's like we're actually building it like it could be a movie. Like when you'll be done with Blood Hunt, I'm telling you, you'll go, dude, that would be an awesome fucking movie.
Yeah. To me, I don't know if anyone else has this. If you read like one of your favorite comic books, and by the time you're done reading it and you look around, you could almost see like real world stuff drawn in the style of whatever that artist was that did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it stays with you. There's an impact on, even if it's just for a few minutes or whatever. It's like you could understand or get into the mind frame of that artist or writer or what they were trying to do in the storytelling. That's how you know you have something special.
One that was really strong to me that back then, and I know you know that one, Harzak by Mobius. Dude, that guy made a fucking full comic. He was one of the first one to make a comic with no dialogue.
Yeah.
And dude, that's the one that I went like, holy shit. You're like, you realize they're like, okay, this is serious, because when you get to know Mobius, that guy was on another level about storytelling.
Storytelling and detail.
Yeah. Like you go to the Blueberry, you'll see like his more realistic thing, and it's really nice and detailed. Then you go into the Inkle, and he has a totally different type of storytelling, not classical at all. And you go, whoa! Like keep in mind that all the storyboards of Aliens, the movie Alien, and the Fifth Element, the storyboarding, it's all Mobius.
Yeah, I remember those on
the same thing for Tron. Yeah.
And that's the cool thing, right? Dude, I still, if I really want to sit down and get like a proper kind of cinematography and storytelling aspects, I'll bust out Sergio Leone movies as well, because it's something that he has. There's a simplicity to it, but such a beautiful style and the angles and the shots, and they're all super clear. Nothing's confusing. There's not too much going on, but it's very iconic, And I think that's like the best approach, I think, for an artist or storyteller, is to make sure you get things like that. You want iconic.
And one of the strengths about really being a big fan of animation and movies, it's by studying movement of like a scene, you start picking up the keyframes, like the really the frame that will be more energetic. Like right now, if you look at the panel that you're there, like I know the entire scene, right? But that's the shot. That's like that you went, okay, cut. We're using that pick, boom, and that's how we keep. That's something you come out from studying, checking all those making of movies, getting how the director thinks, the writer thinks,
because as a creator, you're wearing all those hats.
Yeah,
I've said multiple times. When people ask me about making comics, how do you do it? I said it's difficult because you have to think about everything. You have to think about, put yourself in the character's shoes. So you're the actor, right? You're the director. You're the cinematographer. You're the lighting guy. It's every little element, because if something isn't matched or doesn't work, who are they going to blame? They're going to blame the person who did it, right? Or they'd be like, yeah, man, you were off here, or that doesn't look right, or that's not natural enough, because it's easy to be a critic. It's very difficult to be a creator with a high standard for their storytelling and their work.
Indeed.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Because me and there, I'm even on the my letterer there. I'm even on this case because I want to use aspect of the lettering to help the storytelling.
Yeah.
Something that's missing too in comics.
Yeah, one of the first artists I saw that really did that, like was very specific on what they wanted, was J. Scott Campbell with Danger Girl. He wanted every aspect of it, the fonts, everything to be his signature style. And it works. It does fucking work. It gives a lot more to the storytelling.
And the Disney coloring that he gets on this thing works. Like it's something that people were telling me, and Vinny advised me too on it. It was that Passion for Drawing and Michael Beacon. and also Scotsman. They came to me. They go, dude, you really need to practice more on the cell shading for your style of art. I'm like, And
Yeah, because
it just worked out.
it complements your work a lot more and it brings it out. Because if that's what your main influence is, and we could see it. Yeah, if you get more into that, yeah, it's definitely going to make things pop even more.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to fit the style and evolve it even, 10,000 times further than you even expected. It's a beautiful thing, man. The two of us are standing on a soapbox right now.
I don't mind.
we're just wagging our big things in the air like this is what you have to do.
But we're sharing our way of thinking about it, so it's like it's our process in a way. It's not the way of doing it, but it's our process. It just happens that me and Beanie align.
Plus, I think it's also helpful for first-time creators to hear this stuff, just to give them a sense of to help them find their footing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've seen a lot of like the so-called professionals you see them at conventions, and they try to do a portfolio review on someone who comes up to them, and they give them the same bullshit recipe over and over. Yeah. No one talks about very important things like we just brought up. They don't do that. It's, get this book, get that book. And it's always like the same fucking artists that they want you to look at. When I'm sorry, when it comes to anatomy and stuff, if you want people to learn anatomy properly, they should be studying from life and medical books if that's what you really want to showcase and that's what your style's going for. But no, they keep pushing them over to that guy Hogarth something.
Hogarth, yep.
Yeah. They love that guy. I remember when I first looked through his books, I'm like, some of his angles and drawings are okay, but his anatomy is all fucked up. I saw errors all over his pieces, and they worship this guy. That's like, why are you teaching people to follow another artist? They should be following life. Disney, what they did, those 9 old men, the founders of all that stuff, they always studied life, animals, people, you name it. Because if you know how to draw fucking real life stuff, you could draw any style.
Mm-hmm. And once you practice enough, you don't even need to. You'll do it from memory.
Yeah, it's always good to refresh. Always be learning.
Me personally, I like the book of Bern Hogarth, Dynamic Figure Posing, because I think that it's a really good book to learn to think outside the box to create cool poses. But it's not a perfect book.
No, nothing really is. No? I mean, because there's a guy I like who does a lot of cool storyboarding. He did it for a lot of movies and stuff. But his specific style is too fast and loose. Like to me, and I know a lot of other people, they might not be crazy over it. But the key part of his book is the storytelling aspects, the things that he does, certain shots. I think it's perfect for anybody, writers, artists. It's you want to make sure that your storytelling is there, and then it goes back to foundation. You've got to get your foundations right, and that is.
It's sad to say that some of the best comic book art advice is not available anymore, almost, and they were printed in Wizard. Because most of the art book that I picked up, right, they have good bases. Sometimes the artist is meh, or But those freaking little pages that they had in Wizard by Greg Capullo, Bart Sears, the guy from Dinosaurs for Hire, and all those guys that were just stopping by, they were actually sharing good things about paneling, how your panel should lead to the other panel all the time. There should be a thing within your paneling. Like right now, you see that panel there. You see that guy coming there? Everything leads you to the bottom panel. And everything is like an arrow down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's stuff that you go to a fucking portfolio review, they won't tell you. They go, I say crooked. This is crooked. I don't like your style. And you're like,
and you want to know why? Those wizard things and all that was great. Why? Because they were active artists in the middle of their fucking craft. You go to a convention or something, and it's usually some dickhead editor who doesn't know his ass from his elbow, or some other stupid fuck like that, or some hack who just happen to be lucky enough to get a job or whatever. Those are usually the ones who are doing those reviews because they don't do anything else at the shows. They're not making money. They're or the company told them, do these portfolio reviews, just busy work. it's crazy how it's all operated. That's why conventions really turn me off. That's why I stopped doing a whole ton of them because of stuff like that. Because they don't give good advice. They don't help out people the right way, and they bullshit. They just bullshit inside and out.
Oh yeah, the thing you circled there, the book. I started them by myself, but when I passed the 5K, I hired help. I got people joining the team. So yeah, you have Adam AF as my co-writer for dialogues, Steve Dye the editor, and David Villa is the letterer.
There you go.
Nice.
Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. That's how things work properly.
Yeah, you reach out, you ask questions. Like, I may not be able to help you, but I can point you to somebody else. So go, hey, we need that guy.
Well, even before Comicsgate, some of my projects, the ones that I've done myself, like City of Venus, if I was doing all the work by myself, I would still have someone else read it. Go, does this work properly? What do you think? If there's something that doesn't flow properly, because you got to be able to be humble enough to ask for that, at least an extra set of eyes to see if what you're doing is you're on the right track. If their reaction, if they're wowed or if they're confused,
like when you work professionally for clients and stuff like that, it's something you need to learn, and that's something I know he also has. It's the project comes first. It's not your ego.
Oh yeah,
that aside.
Ego to me is poison. It's poison and it's dangerous. That's why a lot of people from conventions or the fans and all that stuff, when I talk to people, I'm as real and genuine as I could be. Like if you bumped into me at a movie theater or a fucking bar or something, I'm going to be the same person whether I'm talking about whatever we happen to be talking about or if it's comics. The thing is, my forte is in what I do, so I can bring some of that kind of knowledge to the table. But I don't sit there boasting and bragging. I'll never do shit like that. I might be like, wow, I was really proud of that book or that particular piece. Me personally, I really loved it. But I'm not going to sit there going like, oh, yeah, I'm the hottest shit or blah, blah, blah. No, that's dangerous and stupid.
No,
and
there's a difference between ego and confidence, right? Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things where it's like you want to let your work speak for itself kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yep.
The John Wick line.
Yeah, but
get so good at what you do that when you walk into a room, you don't have to introduce yourself.
Yeah, but nobody has the same experience while looking at your piece.
Exactly, because it's subjective. That's how art is.
And our job is to try and lead you, make sure that you understand what we're trying to tell you, though. Like in story wise, and that's when you succeed. Yeah.
Yeah, there was as an example, there's a piece I love so much out of like all the like even the fan stuff that I've done over the years. There was a piece I did with Kingpin and Daredevil. And I did it like a cover to a book, and I wrote like the story in my head about what this would be like if I started turning the page, past the cover, how that story. I mean, it's one of the first ones I really like. I want to wrap my brain around because it's a character I always liked, but I was turned off by it because certain creators who were involved in it over the years. I think we know who we're talking about. But I still like the character. I used to read some of the old books. So when I did this particular fan piece, I was thinking about those elements, and I did it like almost like a movie poster. One of the things I'm very, very proud of how it came out, and people loved it. Everywhere I went at the conventions, they loved it. But guess what? Because the character wasn't as popular as Captain America or Wolverine or Spider-Man, it didn't sell as much. But it's one of the pieces I always get the most compliments on, and it was one of the ones that made the least amount of sales, which to me was kind of mind-blowing. And it also made me think about popularity of characters, It's funny how shit kind of it plays out, right?
Dude, it's like Frank Miller came in with Daredevil, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody gave a fuck about Daredevil.
Yeah.
He came in, boom. Same thing with remember the years of Splat on Moon Knight? Nobody gave a fuck about Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Boom.
It depends. If there's something that's going to make the character popular again or whatever. Yeah.
The problem is that they're trying to force ongoing constantly, which there you go against inspiration or cool. It's not gonna be good stories. Like they should wait for a good arc before just pitching anything. And that was the magic of the 80s and 90s. They had big bullpen. They were planning stories like 5 years ahead.
Well, time out, because you had leaders.
Yeah.
There's no leaders anymore, right? That's the fucking problem with all that shit.
It's
And
fucking yes man all over.
Yeah, and what we have over here, we have leaders, we have independent creators who are kind of under the same fucking umbrella. You could call it like the studio mentality that we all have, at least, you know, like our kind of core group. And that's why things work out properly, and we can advise each other, talk to one another. It's funny because like when you look at the mainstream, it's the popularities of movies, TV, and all that crap. Because going back to that Daredevil piece, it started making sales again when the Netflix show came out.
Yeah,
you know, so it's hilarious how that shit plays out. It's not necessarily about art or like something really fucking cool. It's what the media and what entertainment deems is cool enough. It's really bizarre. But over here, you see it. You see that the fans love what we're doing. It's something special. We're creating these new IPs that people are just sinking their teeth into. Auction night, the higher selling piece that I sold out of the 2 nights I popped up was my City of Venus drawing. You know, it's my character, and it fucking sold me like, you know, 425, which I was like, holy shit, that was amazing. It felt better to me selling that than I've sold other fucking pieces throughout the years.
Yeah, and when we're actually creating real characters, cool characters, not just like you know, altered version of one that's already existing or a gender swap thing. No, we're actually taking time to create new characters.
Exactly. Dude, yeah, look at your character, man. Vincent's fucking badass. He's got style, he's got swagger, he's got action. Everything just stands out. It's fucking beautiful.
Like you said, he's the most badass and sexy vampire in comics.
That's right. He's got a cool name.
I really love this self promotion back here.
Yes.
That's the next book. Yeah.
That's so cool, you know.
And you'll find cameos from all my friends in there. And
all right.
A lot of my friends from CG get murdered in my book. Did I show you yours, Vinny?
Oh God.
No, you never did.
I will.
Uh-oh. How did I go?
We don't see you die. We see you heading, and we all get eaten by a big werewolf type of thing. I won't.
Okay. I was gonna say, do I die packing books and I get buried under an avalanche of hardcover books?
That could have been a good idea for an extra 3-page at the end. You know, like after epilogue, you see packing your book. Vincent's like, "You're done, brother."
He died as he lived.
Sorry, the mainstream paid a lot of money, brother.
No, but I mean, I honestly feel like mainstream comics don't have too much longer. You know, they're kind of on the way out.
They look like they're done.
All joking aside, no spoiler. You die going after Vincent.
Cool, man.
Vinny.
Hey, he's a vampire elite. What I'm gonna say.
He's carrying on the name for me.
So, anyone out there who will listen to this later, if y'all haven't backed Blood Hunt or Through the Woods yet, I don't know what to think of you. You know, but let me see real quick because I figure we're probably getting on about that time to sign off. But I just wanted to show y'all. I haven't been sharing this one on social media so much. I've been sharing it without the lettering. But I wanted to show a little sample here of that's going to be page 3.
Nice.
That looks good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful book you got there.
It also looks a bit like a cartoon, like the buildings and stuff. Like it's a, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Movie. Yeah.
Our colorist, Press Colors, is incredible. Like it barely takes him any time, and he comes out with these incredibly rich colors that I'd never fathomed. Like,
I love it.
but yeah, we've got less than a week till we launch.
Yeah, this is launching on my birthday.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah, May
got
1st.
Awesome.
It's got me nervous, but it's got me nervous.
Yeah, it's your second go, right?
Yep.
You've
And-
replan, reshape your thing. So what'd you change?
Well, I'm number one. I'm being more practical in terms of our page count. We have a 17. Well, not 17. We have a 7K stretch goal. Wait, 7K goal with 25 pages, and if we can hit 14K, I'll be able to put the whole 50. But right now, I have to play it kind of conservative because
Right.
most important thing is making sure that the book gets out there. I don't want to get all the funding in and then come up short and have to tell people that. Like I want to get it right the first time.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, no, you're gonna do great. I think. Yeah, the thing, it's beautiful. We're gonna get you on more streams again too. Yeah, we'll get you good attention.
Yeah, dude, it's a learning experience, right? Remember when
It
you came in a bit too strong before with your posts everywhere? And, you adapted, dude. It's how we do, and you started kind of like talking with us, interacting with us in our DM groups, and we kind of like help you, give you advice, and it's fun to see you just like you dust it off, and you're coming back. That's it.
It's one of those things where when I was first creating it, after I'd written the script and everything, it was just the perfect storm of talent happened. I managed to get Render Contender on this, and then I managed to get Pressy on it. And like I felt like everything interlocked so well that I was just like, it'd be stupid of me not to try to relaunch,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but it's what we tell everybody that's new to CG when they come in. Please just keep in mind that you might have to have a phase 2, like a round 2, because if your mindset that it's all or nothing on round 1 and you're not known, you're gonna hit it hard. Just keep in mind that you may not succeed the first time, but learn from the experience,
right?
And ask questions and talk with people.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And always give it all you got till the last fucking day.
Oh yeah,
that's right. That's another reason why I was doing my channel. Right, I started doing those showcases because I wanted to help out people wherever I can. Never belittle anyone. Always fucking try to do your best to help them. And even if you can't you can't during the live stream, do it in private. If there is a major problem, try to address it to them off air. That way. You're approaching everybody like a fucking person, and you're trying to help each other out. You can't go wrong. It's the ones that make a scene or way too much ego on stuff. No, are you doing this all wrong? People don't want to hear that. People will get scared, intimidated, and the customer, if they hear it, will push away from that kind of stuff. That's why I was always against that type of negativity. There's better ways of handling things.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Keep it positive. Yep. Keep it positive. Be respectful.
This is about having fun and geeking out. It's exactly like a 24-hour, 7 days a week type of big con. So let's have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Host a YouTube channel like me and get drunk on the power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody's gonna get along everywhere, but some people will argue, but just keep doing your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
This was fun.
I'm sorry.
Thank
you. I think before we close out, I was just gonna play this little trailer.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So that was all I wanted to play
So-
for.
So go sub now.
So yeah. And for everybody watching this on the replay, the links to all the campaigns we've shown here are going to be in the description of this video. Get on it because you're going to want to, because these guys are going places. You want to catch them now. You know.
Thank you.
Thanks. And
So
thanks
yeah.
for the invite, buddy. It was a cool stream.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank both of y'all. I loved it. I'll have y'all back anytime.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I'd love to.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can come on mine as well. Like I said, I'm doing one on Wednesday. I don't know all the people I'm going to have yet. If there is a lot, I'll rotate the room. But yeah, you guys are invited for shit, sure.
And you know you're welcome to come on Doodle and Chill, brother.
Absolutely. Well, when I can, let me finish this damn fucking I was looking at the clock the other day. I'm like, I can't. Then my cousins were over helping me out. I'm like, yeah, no, we need to get more books packed.
Mm-hmm. And after your lunch, let us know.
Well, yeah, I'm down. Well, thank y'all for joining us, everybody. And I will catch you all next week. So, yeah.
Later.